Let's go. We are here.
Yeah, girl, now we tapping into the ozone.
Yo, welcome to the show where the energy's flown. It's your boy dropping heat. This is the ozone. Step into the arena where legends are made. From the courts to the fields, watch the highlights played. Football, hoops, baseball, it's all fair game. If it's sports, we bring the fire, put respect on the name. Stats and debates, we break it all down. From the rookies to the goats who wear the crown. No halftime, all grind, we're setting the tone. It's prime time, baby, you're in the ozone. Yo, it's passion, precision, the plays we dissect. From the underdogs, grinding to the Hall of Fame vets. This is more than a podcast, it's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right, welcome to the ozone.
You have entered the ozone with Omar and Dave.
What was that? Let's go, baby! We are here, and you guys officially enter the ozone. That was our mamas talking. They try to hijack the show, but we love our mamas, but we don't love them that much where they're going to be hijacking the show because we got a lot of things to discuss, guys. The Knicks are up 2-1. Is it time to panic now that we enter Game 4 tonight? And New York City got two baseball teams. There's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of... And we finally get it next weekend. We got to talk about it all. But you know I can't do it without my co-host, super producer Dave himself. Brother, it's a new week. How are we feeling?
Brother, this is better than I could have ever imagined as far as the Knicks being 2-1. You know, it is Mother's Day. I want to thank everyone once again. I want to thank all the moms out there. I want to thank, if you have your mom in your life, thank her for me. Kiss her on the forehead. Just, you know, we love the moms. And going back to the Knicks, nobody could have told me that going into Game 4 that we'd be 2-1. Nobody. Because especially if you watch those games, none of it felt like that. But we'll get into that in just a bit. Brother, we are excited to talk about the show and bring it to you. So, brother, lead us into the next segment. Let's go.
Let's do it, guys. You know, the biggest thing in New York right now is our New York Knicks. And let's get into it on This Week in Knicks.
This week in Knicks.
All right, y'all. This Week in Knicks, playoff edition. Brother, I don't think we could have started this series any better with not one, but two 20-point comeback victories in Beantown. Had the sports world shook. Had people going back on their word. Colin Cowherd, you got Paul Pierce allegedly walking 15 miles from his home to the studio. And then you had Saturday afternoon. I'm in New York right now filming, and it's definitely a different energy. Obviously, you can see it through phones, you can see it through Instagram, TikTok, and that sort of stuff of how the city is. But when you're here in person, it's very different. The vibe is very different. It's very much like the movies. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's with Knick hats. Everybody's like this. So going into Saturday Game 3, which is quite ridiculous as far as the ticket pricing, and it's something that I want to talk about a little later. But it was excitement. It was a buzz. And the Knicks got steamrolled in Game 3, and I think we kind of saw this coming. I think this was the game, personally speaking, I thought this was the game we were going to get in Game 2. You know, after having the 20-point comeback, you're hearing all this. They shoot a record, what was it, 45? They missed a record of 45 threes, was it? And you hear all of this, and you go, oh, that was an anomaly kind of effort from the Celtics. They're not going to do it again. Well, they do it again in Game 2. But Game 3, they hit all their threes, and they win a big one. I believe they won, 115-98 or something like that. Obviously, the score is not indicative to how the game went.
93.
At one point, 93, yeah. So at one point, I think the Celtics were up by 28 or 29 or something like that. But I'm going to be honest, brother. I know a lot of Knicks fans are now panicking. The playoffs is just so weird. The playoffs, You win one game, you're going to the finals. You lose one game, all firely on rolls. What's your feeling right now with 3 games in? We're up 2-1. You kind of mentioned it before we got into the segment, but just go in a little bit more detail of how you're feeling with us being up 2-1 right now, with game 4 being the night.
If we're going off feeling, I'm not bringing any facts, stats, or anything like that. If we're going purely off feeling, brother, I feel good. I feel good because we're not supposed to be in this position. We're playing against the defending champs. And the fact of the matter is that they should have won both of those games in game 1 and 2. And the Knicks have shown exactly what we have believed this whole time. And we can talk about the media, we can talk about everybody who hates the Knicks, but we're not focused about that. We're talking about just Knicks and Knicks fans. We had the belief that the Knicks could hang around, but everyone felt like that was something that they couldn't do. And whether it was a collapse on the Celtics, that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you have to finish out games. And the Knicks showed that they can bring it back and close it out for us. And brother, I don't know. You're the one who bought the Jalen Brunson shirt from Kith. If you checked, I don't know if Mikal Bridges' shirt is still available, but it might sell out
The
pretty
black
soon.
one now is sold out, and I think last
Rightfully
time I
so.
checked, extra small and small on his white shirts are now the only sizes available. It's funny you mention
So,
that because after game 2, I did check Kith. I'm like, people buying
so,
McKell shirts. Go
so
ahead.
rightfully so. Like I'm in a good feeling now. Don't get me wrong. There are things that we'll get into as we can go more into this coverage. But come on, we're up 2-1. We weren't supposed to be there, and all you have to do is win 2 more. I said Knicks in 6 before coming into the series. It's very plausible at this point. And now the Pope is from Villanova, so maybe he might, he might bless him. And I'm not even a religious man, but go for it. Whatever works.
Whatever it takes, as Captain America once said. Um, I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking. I think but I am a believer also in that expectations can change in this series. I think with what you said, I think if you told everybody before game 1 was even played, you told every Knicks fan, hey, we're gonna be up 2-1 going into game 4 at home, at the crib, at the Garden, the real Garden, because now this has been a conversation of what's the real Garden, which Boston plays at the TD Garden, but the original Boston Garden has not been a thing since 1996. It was the Fleet Center. So I've been trolling Boston fans calling it the Fleet Center. No, there's only one Garden, and it's Madison Square Garden. I think every Knicks fan would be like, just like you, brother. Oh, yeah, I'm taking a 2-1 lead, going in the Garden for game 4. We wrapping it up in 5. But I also, like I said, I think the way series play out is very different. I bet a lot more people are a little bit more nervous now being up 2-1 going into the spot as if they probably would have not been before. I'll say this, and I was speaking to this with a couple of New Yorkers over the weekend before game 3. I'm like, this is the first time I feel like a 2-0 team. You're a team up 2-0 and you feel nervous. And he's like, it should be the other way around. It's usually the other feeling. Like you're a little bit more laxed. You're up 2-0. But obviously we know how deadly this Boston Celtics team can be, because we know what the narrative was. Obviously, the national media gave us no credit for winning game 1 and 2. That it was the coverage on it was just the poor shooting of the Boston Celtics and the them not being disciplined enough to try to attack and get easy baskets as opposed to just settling for threes and they let the Knicks come back. But my fight back on that, brother, is the Knicks fought back. At the end of the day, teams are gonna miss shots. And if you don't capitalize on that, then it means absolutely nothing. And I think that was the thing. They didn't want to give credit to the Knicks. And let's just be honest, the Knicks haven't played their best basketball this series. Let's call a spade a spade. And OG Anunoby had a great game in game 1. Brunson had a great game in game 1. Brunson can usually perform a little bit better than that. Cat didn't have such a great game. Mikal had a strong fourth quarter in game 1, the same thing he did in game 2. Josh Hart's played well. But if you think about it, this Knicks team hasn't clicked on all cylinders yet in this series. So I think my confidence level going into game 4 is high, but with it's a little kickback because the Celtics did shoot like the Celtics in game 3. And this is where obviously everything's over the weekend, and I would love to see how national media is going to cover this, because you know what they're going to do? They're going to make it seem like the Celtics found this switch. And watching Game 3, brother, the Celtics done nothing different from from Game 1 and 2.
There's only
The
one
only difference
difference.
is their threes got in. They made their threes. That's
That's
the
it.
only difference. They were still chucking. There was a lot of fast breaks where it's like, you got a 2-on-1, but you're going to go kick it to Pritchard for the 3 when you could have had an easy dunk. It's just, those went in. That's the only difference. But other than that, like I said, I feel like the Knicks haven't had that game. I think we're gonna win tonight. And I know I'm jumping the ship with as far as predictions. I wanted to talk a little bit more about it, but I just think the Knicks are gonna win tonight. I think we take a nice commanding 3-1 lead going into Boston. I know I had said Knicks in 7 with my heart, Celtics in 6 with my brain, and I settled with my heart. But this Knicks team, I think, will bounce back tonight. I think they will bounce back and take Game 4.
You said it perfectly, and I actually wanted to like chime in, but the fact is, the only difference was that the Celtics were hitting their threes. They finally started going through that net. That's it. Nothing else has changed. And media and fans of the Celtics probably will go and chime in and say that, well, Porzingis isn't healthy. Well, Porzingis has never been healthy in his career. So I'm sorry, don't give me that. Like, I'm sorry he's dealing with a
Nah, like, look,
respiratory issue,
honestly,
but
yeah, they can't use that. They can't.
but
First of
at the
all,
end of the day, no. Just no.
you can't use that. You won a championship. You played Miami, no Jimmy Butler. When you played Cleveland, Jared Allen was out. Donovan Mitchell missed a few games. You know what I mean? Indiana, and I hate Indiana. They were going to beat Indiana regardless. But you played 2 games without Tyrese Halliburton. And then you played a Dallas Maverick team that, let's just call it spade a spade. They were really just hot. They weren't really supposed to be there. So the last thing I want to do is hear about injuries. That is
Right.
the last thing I want to hear about.
But
Have they
they
seen
will.
Karl Anthony Towns' hand? The guy's playing with a broken finger.
Have you seen Brunson's ankle?
Have you seen Brunson's ankle? And
So
how about the Bush League? I want to say something, brother. Hold on.
go for it.
Go ahead. You know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll finish your point because I want to
No,
ask you
it's
something, bro.
upsetting that like this is what it becomes of the thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm upset with the Knicks because at the end of the day, why are you putting yourself in a position where we have to come back from a 20-point deficit twice? That doesn't that is not that is a gimme if you're the Celtics. You will take that 20-point lead anytime because you don't think that the Knicks or any team can hang with you. And the fact is, I don't want to be put in that position. I already get upset with the Knicks when we already have a lead going into the third quarter, the fourth quarter, and they start letting teams come back in it. So I can't go and be, like confident that this is what's going to happen again against the Celtics. No, I want to show that we're actually hanging around and not just like, all right, we're making a 20-0 run. I don't want to see that. I don't. I want to see that we're actually, neck and neck going back and forth.
Yeah, because
Pause.
that's not sustainable. That's
It's
not
not.
sustainable. Like, that's not something that you want to keep finding yourself in and being down by 20. But this is what I want to talk about a little bit, because when the Knicks were down by 30 points or whatever you want to say, this man, their coach,
Missoula?
forgot his Missoula, does the hack a Mitch. And I have a thing when it comes to the hack a Mitch. And I don't want people to think, oh, you're saying this because you're a Knicks fan and Mitchell Robinson. I have no problem with the Hacker Mitch. Hacker Shaq was the origin of it when Greg Popovich would do it against the Lakers. My thing is this. The NBA considers 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter or whatever, as clutch, right? That's the clutch. That's where they factor in all the clutch points, right? I would like to think that that's an important time of the game, right? The last 5 minutes of each quarter. I think they should move it up. I think so. That's what the Hacker Mitch foul is like around the play foul. Like, if it's not around the play and you're fouling them, you get penalized. But obviously you're allowed to do it basically throughout the whole first quarter until the last 2 minutes. I don't want to take it away because I think that's good strategy of coaching. That's part of it. I don't want to take that part of the game away. But it does slow the game down. It does slow the game down. It does slow down the pace. I think they should move it up to 5 minutes. That's what I think they should do. Move it up to 5 minutes. But because that's their strategy, because they don't want Mitchell Robinson on the floor. Mitchell Robinson has been a terror for them defensively. They don't want to do it because with Mitchell Robinson, you have the ability to switch. And Mitchell Robinson, not saying he's gonna stop Jason Tatum, but he can contain him a little bit and really make shooting for Tatum difficult.
Right.
Or
And
whomever they're trying to do the switch on.
I'm okay with the strategy because at the end of the day, it's helped us, right? Like at the end of the day, you're putting your team in a bad position later on in the game when it comes time to it. Um, what I wish was is that Mitch was a better free throw shooter, but I get that's the
Yeah.
strategy. That's the reason why you're doing it to Mitchell Robinson and not Cat or someone else. Um, I just fine. You want to hack Mitch, go for it. But when you're like, somebody gets, I don't know. It's just to me, I don't like the strategy, but
I get it though, bro.
I get
I
it. I'm
get it
not gonna say
though.
I don't get it. I don't like it. Doesn't mean I have to get That's how I feel. Like just because I get it doesn't mean I like it. You know, brother, your audio.
Sorry, I had myself muted because I am coughing. I'm in New York. You know how that goes. Um, the Celtics shot 50% from three, 20 of 40. Um, the Knicks shot 5 of 25. That's 20%. The Knicks have to. I think the turnovers was pretty even, 12 to the Knicks 11. Um, like we said before this series, the Knicks just have to. We've seen it in game 1 and 2 with the comebacks. If we're in a position where we need a basket or so in the last 2 minutes or in crunch time in the game, we know we have the closer. You know what I'm saying? This Knick team just needs to keep it close to the fourth quarter. And not by doing it how we did it in game 1 and 2. I'm not prefacing that. I'm not saying that because I don't think that's not sustainable. Coming back 20 points every game. But man, we can ball with these guys. We've shown it. We've seen it. You know what I mean? But Boston's gonna settle for a lot of threes. I need to see the Knicks rebound a little bit better. The
So
rebounding has been kind of killing me. I know if you look at the stats, we've out rebounded them 17 to 12 on offensive. Like we out rebounded them by a total of 1, but it never felt that way. Because I feel like maybe that's more stat stuffing from just maybe late in the game, because it just felt like with every big maybe shot that the Celtics did, man, those long rebounds were going to the Celtics and then they go hit on the three. Um and then the Knicks got to find a way to get Cat more involved. Cat's got to stretch the floor, hit a three. Cat has only made 1 3 in this series so far.
yeah, he's
I
got to be
know we
better.
want to take advantage of the size, and I get that. And I felt like the refs were letting them get away with a lot with hacking Cat in game 3. I'm not one that believes in these theories that the NBA is, all right, refs are, I know certain teams get a whistle. Like obviously, a team wins game 1, that team that wins game 1, game 2, they're probably gonna get less whistles than the team that lost game 1. I know that. You know what I mean? But it just felt like that way. I felt like every time we loved Tap Porzingis, he got called. But man, Towns was getting hacked by Tatum and Porzingis and that sort of stuff. And Al Horford, I want to come at Al Horford. Al Horford is 6'10", 250 pounds.
Oh, he's a punk.
Jalen Brunson is. They got Brunson listed as 6'2". Jalen Brunson's not 6'2". We all know Jalen Brunson's not 6'2". Jalen Brunson probably weighs like 190, bro. There's no way, my man, he threw you on the floor like that.
But
And
I
then
mean,
you
did
want
you
to
see
go to
the
the
clip?
refs and yeah,
Did you
yeah,
see the
we
clip?
saw it.
Because the clip, you
Brother,
see it. He's like, it was a flop,
Dave's
but
got the
he can't
clip
push me
playing
like
right
that.
now. Dave's got the clip playing right now. You can see for yourself.
He literally says,
You can
he
see for
verbatim
yourself.
says, it was a flop, but he can't push me like that. So who are you?
Right,
Go
exactly. You
retire.
know
I
what I
wanted you to
mean?
retire last
Yeah,
year when you had
yeah.
it.
So speaking of retirement, and it's so crazy, I was laughing, right? I don't know why I thought Al Horford was like LeBron's age, 40. So every time Brunson has him on the ISO, I'm like, yo, cook this old man, cook this old man, cook this old man. Al Horford's 38. He's only 2 years older than me. So I got to chill with the old man stuff.
It's
Ha!
don't get me wrong. My neighbors know him something else because I'm definitely not gonna. It's definitely not PG what I would say about Al
Hey.
Horford when Cat is on him. But
Uh,
at the end of the day, like, dude, you've been around in the league, and I don't get it. Like, it was a stupid complaint, and if this is what you want to be in the late stages of your career, just hang it up after the season because clearly they're gonna
yeah.
keep doing this to you now.
So my
I was gonna
question to you,
ask
right?
you.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was gonna ask you, like, what do you want to see from the Knicks, and you gave me some of your points. So I'm just gonna go into what I do want to see from the Knicks. Jalen Brunson's free throw, like his shooting percentage has gone down from the last series. I want to see that pick up. I want to see. I don't want to
Yeah.
wait till the end of the game so we can start seeing Mr. Clutch do it. I want to see you start killing it from the beginning of the game. I want you to be a problem from the beginning of the game. The other thing I am wanting to see is, and I'm not trying to be the minutes police, but I would like to see a little bit less minutes for Josh Hart, just because when it comes to crunch time, I want to see him on the floor. I want to see him
Yeah.
there because he's playing so many minutes that, bro. You know what's crazy? And everybody who watches Josh Hart, how long do you think those knees could last? And I'm not like pause if you want to say pause or whatever, but seriously, the man rebounds like an animal, and I just think like every time I watch him jump, I'm just like, damn, like he's gonna come down one day, and I'm just gonna feel sad because I saw it coming. Like, give him a little bit of break, just a
Yeah. So
little bit.
Josh
That's
Hart
that's
right now. Yeah, right now Josh Hart in the last 10 games. So that's the 6 games with Detroit. There's actually so let's look at his postseason. He's averaging 38.4 minutes a game. Um, he's not getting much time, and I think that's more because of the blowout where he only played 34 in game one and game three. I know that right now, and it's funny because they want to say minutes. You know, I know like the minutes was a big thing, and then you heard like Kenny Atkinson from Cleveland before they won game three talk about when they lost game two, like, oh, our guys played a lot of minutes, they're not used to it. So it's almost like um the Knicks guys are conditioned, but I would agree with that. Maybe get him out a little earlier. I thought Precious Achua did pretty well in the minutes that he saw in game three. And I'm not saying play Precious Achua now 15 minutes, but if you want to give Precious Achua a good 8, 9 minutes just to give Josh Hart a little blow on the bench. And I forgot Josh Hart fell on his back, so that's probably why he was at 34 minutes. I forgot. I'm
the,
looking at it now. So I agree. I want to see Mikal Bridges be aggressive. Mikal Bridges mid range, man, is so automatic. It's so automatic. I want to see more plays set for him. I want to see more screens set for Mikal, where he's coming off a screen and he's popping the mid range fadeaway. That can get teams clicking. I think that could get teams going. Um, so I need to see we need to see a little bit more of that. I thought Deuce has played a lot better in this round. Um, you know, and Mitchell Robinson has been good. Obviously the free throws thing is very frustrating. But
there's
we
one
can
last
play
thing.
with these guys. Go
There's
ahead.
one last thing I'd like to see, and it's perimeter defense. We already know what they're going to do. We already know as soon as they get to the perimeter
They're
what
gonna
they're
jack
planning to do.
threes, man. This
They're
team
going to jack
shoots
threes,
so
and that's
many
fine
threes.
because you can live by the sword and you can die by the sword. So I'm fine with you chucking threes as long as they're not going in. So we already know the game plan. Just play the perimeter better. That's all I'm asking for the Knicks. You already heard they called it out. The Knicks defense has vastly improved in this playoff series, and this is something
Yeah.
that we had a feeling that would happen because at the end of the day, you're taking a whole season together and you're trying to condense it into what the Knicks were, and it's a different style once you're in the playoffs. You're seeing this team again and again, at least for 4 games, maybe five, whatever. The point is, I want to see a better perimeter defense from the Knicks. That's what I would love to see going forward because we know what the Celtics are capable of, as we saw in Game 3.
Yeah, the Knicks got to start quick, man. In game three, you can tell the crowd was just looking for anything to just go insane, man. Go insane. And, because that was a big thing. That was a big thing, big conversation heading into game three was how, obviously the crowd was going to be crazy, but then you had some people that get, well, a lot of real fans are not going to be able to go to game 3. And do billionaires or rich people, do rich fans make as much noise as, I guess, non-rich Knicks fans? They prove that they can get loud. I do think the tickets, it's a little absurd. To get in, more or less, was $1,000 to get in the arena, and that's not even counting if you wanted to sit lower bowl or whatever. And that's got to change. I don't know how. I don't know how that changes. Because I feel like even if the Knicks personally were to go and make her cheap tickets, it's only going to be botted and bought by secondary markets that are going to uptick the price anyway. But I do think maybe if they lower, maybe that could be an option, because obviously the resale is high because the retail is high. You know what I mean? So it kind of sucks that, I know I looked at the tickets through through SeatGeek. Hey, if you don't want to sponsor a SeatGeek, through SeatGeek, and I remember before game 1, right? After we won game 1, game 3 tickets for 2 just to get in were sitting roughly at 1,100, right, after taxes and fees. When we won game 2, it skyrocketed to $2,000. So it went up another $1,000, basically another $1,000, and then that was with me using a promo code of another podcast. That obviously it's Pat McAfee, whatever. It was Pat McAfee, where it was $30 when you spend more than 250 or something like that. So it's a little absurd. It kind of sucks. But brother, before we move on, game 4 is tonight, and this is a pivotal game. Although I know you feel good about being up 2-1, I'm not so doom and gloom about being up 2-1. I would take it. I'd rather be up 2-1 than be down 1-2 going into game 4. But we can't disregard the importance of this game, because game 5 goes back to Boston. And you lose home advantage. Right now the Knicks still have home advantage because they've won the 2 games in Boston. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you how are you going to feel if the Knicks win. We're going to feel great. But if the Knicks lay an egg in game 4, what's your confidence level then?
I say my confidence level definitely plummets. And I'll tell you why for another reason. We're not winning at home. That's
Yeah.
that's of concern. Now we're just the road warriors, and it seems like the Boston
We're
Celtics may
one
be
and
the same
three. We're
way.
1-3. We're 1-3 so far at home this
Right,
in the
and I think the
playoffs.
Celtics have the same thing as well. I think they have one of the best records in the last couple of years on the road as well. So this
On
is
the road,
something
they've
of
actually been a better road team.
yeah. So this is one of those things that just concerns me. Like this is one of those games that you don't want to end up, having the Celtics come back here if they win Game 4. I wouldn't.
Uh, and just for those that are superstitious like myself, and it's funny because I even noticed that last year, um, in the 3 years that the Knicks have been in the playoffs, in the second round, their second round records, bro, 7-1 when the games is aired on TNT, 0-8 on ESPN. And I remember thinking that in the Indiana series, I'm like, dang, every time we're on ESPN, we lose to these bums. Every time. And then, obviously game 4 tonight is on ESPN. So maybe that might be the Stephen A. Smith curse. Hopefully we break it tonight. The NBA draft also is at 7, the lottery. So I think the Nets, hey, maybe Brooklyn might have a shot at Cooper Flag. We'll see. But brother, final predictions. Are we winning game 4?
I say we win Game 4, but it's definitely a close one. It's not a blowout.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
win.
I don't.
We
Yeah,
win by 2, maybe.
I don't think we blow out the Celtics either. I really don't. Um, but I do think it's one of those games where it's close, it's very close, and then the Knicks maybe get to like take the lead to like 6-7 in the final minute, and we get like a 115-109 victory, something like that. But go Knicks. Let's take a 3-1 lead, close it out in Boston. Let's do what we got to do. We still in it. We're up 2-1. There's no need to panic. We got the captain. We got the captain. And captain never has back-to-back bad games. He's going to come through tonight. But brother, it's a big week in baseball. And let's get into it. Let's talk about them boys from the Bronx. It's the Pinstripes Report.
The Pinstripe Report.
All right, y'all. It's the Pinstripes Report. This is where we cover our New York Yankees. And the Yankees had a good week. They took 2 out of 3 against the Padres, which is a World Series contending team. And right now, the Yankees won the first game against the Sacramento, Oakland A's, or Las Vegas A's, whomever you want to call it. And right now, as of this recording, they are playing the A's right now, and they're winning by a whole lot. Yankees are winning 12-2 right now in the bottom of the 8th. So I think, brother, it is safe to say that the Yankees win 2 out of 3. They get a good week, 2 out of 3 against the Padres, which I got wrong. I thought the Yankees were going to lose the series. And the way the series went, the Yankees could have swept the series against San Diego. Obviously, the Devin Williams struggles in the game, in the first game, allowing San Diego to get back. Luke Weaver couldn't even help him. Then the Yankees bounce back. They give they pretty much destroyed the Padres. And then they won a tight one to close out the series. The Yankees right now are 22-17. There will be 23-17. So far, what did you think of the Yankees week, brother?
I'm a little concerned with our pitching, bro. Wouldn't you
Really?
agree? Pitching has me a little
Yeah.
concerned, especially our bullpen.
Um,
I
the
that was
bullpen.
a
It's Devin
sorry.
Williams, man. It's Devin Williams, bro.
This
It's
is
Devin
something I
Williams.
came into the season that I felt like was definitely our strong suit outside of like having Aaron Judge. The one thing I felt like we could rely on, knowing that Garrett Cole was out, was our bullpen, and that's not where I feel at this moment. But it is still it's May, so there is time for improvements. There is time for things to turn around, but don't just I'm telling you right now, as of my gut feeling, when it comes to the bullpen, when it comes to those games, and a lead isn't safe. That's how I feel right now.
Um, yeah, Devin Williams right now has allowed 13 runs this season already, and that's the same amount of runs he allowed in 2023 and 2024 combined. Um, the Yankees now have the most losses, 5, when leading in the 8th inning or later on. And he's responsible for all 5 of those losses. So you think about what the Yankees record might be if you don't have those 5 losses. Um, I know he not looked good, but that last game against San Diego, because he kind of put himself in that position again. He got a big strikeout, got out the inning, and that's how the Yankees walked it off. But yeah, I think it is concerning. I think the bullpen is concerning for the Yankees. They DFA'd Carlos Carrasco. Um, so Carlos Carrasco is no longer on the team. I think the Yankees now have 10 days to figure that out. Um, the starters have been good. Max Fried has been phenomenal. Carlos Rodon had a little hiccup in Oakland, but that's okay. Will Warren pitched fine this afternoon yesterday to close out the series against the A's. But what I do want to highlight, I want to highlight our captain, Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is playing phenomenal this season. Aaron Judge is doing this without Juan Soto, without a big protection, like a big bat protecting him. Aaron Judge right now has 14 home runs, 37 RBIs. He is raking right now. He's batting .396. On base percentage, .486, slugging .772. Brother, these are MLB The Show numbers right here that Aaron Judge is doing. And considering the lineup protection that he has, man, it is wow. Like it's speechless how great this guy is.
Yeah. There's, the revenge tour is in full effect, as we've been talking about
Full
since
effect.
for the beginning of this, before the season began. And we're just seeing it come to fruition. Aaron Judge is going to be that guy that you just hang everything on. Unfortunately, I would like to see that change at some point. I would like to see the Yankees make a trade for someone who can at least assist with that, because I don't want it to just be on Judge's shoulders. I'd like someone else to be there. But if you can't ask nothing more from your guy.
Yeah, I think the Yankees. I think as obviously as the season progresses and goes, you start to uncover. All right, certain things like obviously you have it in the like we knew, in the off season, like okay, the Yankees might need another starter. But then as the season goes, you start seeing okay, this guy maybe not is performing as well, or maybe this guy is performing, as better than we thought. The Yankees got to add another pop. The Yankees got to add another bopper. Because I just don't think uh Bellinger is that guy. I know Goldschmidt right now is in certain lineups is batting behind him. Shout out to Ben Rice. Ben Rice continues to rake. But I think the Yankees are gonna have to add another bat and add another. I know the bullpen. I know your worries with the bullpen, brother. But you know how Brian Cashman is. Brian Cashman is not going to fix the bullpen up, especially when you got guys like Jake Cousins and Johnny Loizaga that's going to be returning pretty soon. So you know we're going to get the classic Brian Cashman. Oh, getting back those guys are like trade acquisitions. So we already know like that's going to be the narrative for the bullpen.
Right.
But I think this bullpen, I think the Yankees are going to go as far as Devin Williams takes us. I'm going to be honest. Devin Williams is a big piece. As though I know Yankee fans are, hey, we can go with Weaver, but we're going to have to use Devin Williams. Um, we need him. It's just as simple as that. We need Devin Williams. Now, if we trade Devin Williams and we go maybe, to get somebody for him and maybe a bat or whatever, then it is what it is, which I don't see happening. But and sorry, Will Warren did not pitch on Sunday. That was Yogborough. So I'm giving credit to the wrong guy. And we smacked up Severino. So Severino, we got a little payback for that comment you made when you were on the Mets last year. But let's get into the week ahead, brother. Brother, put on the graphic. The Knicks have a 3-game set with the Seattle Mariners. Monday, May 12th, Tuesday the 13th, and Wednesday the 14th. And you guys have noticed that there's only one series that we put because we're going to be talking about their next opponent that the Yankees will be facing next weekend in a special segment. But brother, let's just the pitching matchups is Clark Schmidt, Hancock, Fried, Wu, and then Warren and Luis Castillo. How do you think we fare in this series, brother?
Hmm. I feel like we could take 2 out of 3. I think we could take 2 out of 3 on this one.
Yeah, we played pretty well. We played pretty well in against Seattle. Um, I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to see what's their standings right now. What's the standing? What's Seattle's record? I'm gonna get that right now. Um, Seattle right now is in first place, so they're 22-16. They're 12-8 at home. They just lost 2 straight. I like 2 out of 3. We got Max Fried pitching, so I think that's gonna be one of the wins. And I like Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt looked pretty good his last start. So I got 2 out of 3. So we're not going to jump into the next series just quite yet because we need to cover them boys from Queens. So let's do it. It's the Amazin Rundown.
The Amazin Rundown. It's about the Mets, baby. Love the Mets. All right, baby. Let's go. Get a home run, baby. Love the Mets. Let's go, Mets.
All right, y'all. The Amazin Rundown is where we cover them boys from Queens. And the Mets had a good week. The Mets are rolling. I was at the Met game yesterday as they smacked up the Cubs 6-2. Got a Frankie Lindor home run. Got a Brandon Nimmo home run. But before that, the Mets went on to Arizona, took 2 out of 3. Juan Soto's hitting bombs in Arizona. He just loves the pitching there. Mets take 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. Brother, how we feeling? How we feeling about the Mets this week?
I mean, look, we've been preaching it for weeks now. Soto was gonna get it going at some point, and now it's slowly coming together. And like, you pair that up with Lindor, who right now I don't even think it was a debate. It was just something we were talking about in the group chat. Lindor is probably one of the most clutch players right now in the league, and you put that with a Soto, and once Soto gets going, look out for the Mets. I think the Mets are in a good position right now.
Look, Francisco Lindor right now he's rolling. He's playing right now. He's batting 301, 9 home runs, 26 RBIs. As I touched on, he did homer yesterday. And in a big moment too. It was a 2-2 game. Cubs had just tied the game in the bottom of in the top of the eighth, and he comes in and gets the big solo blast, and that kind of kickstarted that eighth inning, the 4-run eighth inning. The Mets are rolling right now. They're just like I said last week, man. The Mets are a good team. The Mets are a very good team, and they're in first place. They're 26-15 right now. I do know that the Phillies are starting to roll a little bit. But talking to some Met fans over the weekend, just off the record, they're not scared of the Phillies, as they shouldn't be. They swept the Phillies. They beat the Phillies last year in the playoffs, although that means nothing to this season. But then they swept the Phillies, so they feel confident. Um, they had a good week. They had a good week. They got their get back against Arizona, where Arizona took 2 out of 3 in City. They go and take 2 out of 3 in Arizona. And, they looked good against the Cubs. They look, and the Cubs is one of those teams that right now, the Cubs are first place in their division. You know what I mean? So all this narrative of the Mets they're only playing bad teams. Well, you got to play who's on your schedule. You get fat when you can get fat, but they're also beating good teams. And Griffin Canning had another great performance. Their bullpen is very good. Ryan Stanek is very good. Um, uh, Edwin Diaz has been really good. Now I know he's had his little hiccups and a couple starts, but I think he's gonna get better. Now I know they get a little. Right now I know that they got a big hit with AJ Minter. AJ Minter was a big free agent relief pitcher that they signed in the offseason from Atlanta. He's gonna miss the rest of the season with a torn lat, and Jesse Winker is gonna miss 6 to 8 weeks with a grade 2 oblique strain. So those are gonna be pretty big hits. But then guys got to step up. Starting Marte, he's gonna get more at bats. Brett Beatty's gonna get more at bats.
Who
Luis
looked good
Angel,
this weekend too. Brett Beatty looked good
yes.
this weekend.
Luis Angel Acuna, man, he's good. I think he's running away with that second base job. This is a very good Mets team. And they're gonna have another opportunity to get fat because they opened the week against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Um, and I'm gonna just they play the Pirates on. So Dave has the graphic here. They play the Pirates Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All 7:10 starts. Honestly, bro, I this has brooms. Well, you know what? They got Paul Skeens pitching the first game for Pittsburgh. But I'm gonna be honest, that you know what? Yeah, I'm still sticking to my guns. I'm calling a Mets sweep. I just think that first game, it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a pitching game. Obviously, you got David Peterson, he's been pretty good. He's 2-2. He's got a over 3 ERA, 3.5, 3.05. And then obviously you got Paul Skeens, who's his season is Paul Skeens is the man. He's really good. He's got a 2.77 ERA right now. He's 3-4, but record really doesn't mean anything. He's just on a bad team. But I got the Mets sweeping Pittsburgh.
Um, I was gonna say that the Mets lose that first game against Pittsburgh, but no, I'm going with the sweep.
Yeah, that first game had me a little bit because I'm looking at Paul Skeens, but I'm like, the Mets got Peterson, and Peterson has just been obviously not just as good as Paul Skeens, but Peterson's been good, and Pittsburgh's not good. So I feel like it's gonna be Met fans will know this, guys. It's gonna be like when you guys had Jacob DeGrom, and Jacob DeGrom, you guys were losing 1-0 games. It's gonna be like that. I think Mets easily win it 2-1 or something like that. And then I think the Mets uh do their damage. Do their damage the last 2 games. Well, brother, with the Pinstripes Report and with the Amazin Rundown, we only covered the first half of what the Mets and Yankees season is looking like because we're getting it, brother. For the first time this season, we are getting the Subway Series. Brother, let's get into the segment. This is a special Subway Series. Roll the graphic, brother.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
All right, y'all. So this is a special Subway Series segment. Brother, this is so hype that we just couldn't just, talk about it a little bit here on the Pinstripe Report. We couldn't talk about it here on the Amazin Rundown. This deserved its own segment, brother, because there's a lot of smoke, a lot of it. Obviously, Mets Yankees is always spicy, regardless of who's bad, who's good. It's always spicy. But we all know it got a little bit of sizzle, a little bit more sizzle, even before the acquisition of Juan Soto. I would say it started in the postseason. It started in the playoffs. It started with the Mets, celebrating that they won one more game against the Dodgers than the Yankees did. You Met fans were trolling the Yankees, trolling Aaron Judge on the drop ball. Then now what made it amplify even more was obviously the signing of Juan Soto. Juan Soto picking the Mets over the Yankees. Now, we got our reasons why, but it doesn't matter at this point. But he picked the Mets over the Yankees. Then you have the big brother, little brother. You have all of this. Now this is the first showdown as the New York Mets battle the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Friday, the February 16th, Saturday the 17th, and Sunday the 18th. Now Friday's a 7 p.m. game, Saturday's a 1 p.m. game, and then Sunday is a 7 o'clock. So that's Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Brother, how hype are you right now? First Subway Series of the season.
I'm very hyped. And there's two reasons why I'm hyped. One is because we finally get this matchup. And, we've been looking forward to this since the season started. We don't. The Mets and Yankees is a rivalry that is more so based because of where we are in New York and less about where we are as far as like divisions or conferences. This is
Right,
more so like
right,
the who's better in New York kind of thing. The second reason
right.
is because I'm going to be in New York for this one. I'm going to be over there
Oh,
and
yeah, you are!
I'm going to be able to see how is it and how the city is rocking with their teams. And this is going to be the first time that I've got to see both teams really good at the same time. And I want to see, there's nothing like New York when your teams are good. So I'm ready to see this and
Not
how this shakes up.
You said this. Hold on, brother. I want to cut you off because I want to give major props. New York City, I love you. I know I moved. I no longer live in New York City. I love New York City. This weekend, I've never seen it like this. I moved out of New York at 28 in my 28 years of living here. Brother, you're going to feel it when you come next week. When every team is doing well. Right now, the Knicks off the hype. And this is even like with the Knicks up 2-0 at that time. Obviously, that Saturday. Like that Saturday was so. Oh man, like you felt it, man. The Knicks are winning. The Mets are winning. The Yankees are winning. This city, like you go on a subway, all you see is Met hats, Knick hats. Everybody is so excited to root for their team. This city is starving to win, and you feel it, you smell it. You can, if the Knicks fans can almost taste it. I was in City Field yesterday, and the environment in City Field was amazing. The fans are starving to win, and you have all the New York teams buzzing, all of them, Knicks, Yankees, Mets, buzzing. The city is on fire right now. You're going to see it next week, brother. I'm telling you, you're going to see it next week. It's a different feel. It is a different feel. Now I'll say this, though, before you go.
no, continue.
It might be And I hope we don't get to this point. But as we touched, the Yankees and the Mets are playing this weekend. Game 6 of the Knicks game, I believe, would fall on one of those days.
Game 6
If it
would
gets to a
fall
game
on
6.
Friday, May
Friday.
16th at 8 p.m.
Yes.
If
Yes. And that's the thing in New York. What game do you go to? What, like, you know what I mean? It's the first Subway Series game. So you already know it's gonna be crazy. And then you have game 6 and that could be, you already know game 6, that's gonna be an elimination game for, I would hope it doesn't get to that point, but it's gonna be an elimination for either team. Because obviously somebody will be up 3-2. I hope the Knicks can close out where we don't even have to get to that point. We're chilling and we can just all focus on the Subway Series. But that's something good. But, New York, I just wanted to shout out and give New York so much love and credit. I love it. We're fans of New York teams, and we're just so thirsty to win, and fans can finally smell it, and some can taste it, and it's almost cursed. It's great to see.
I'm happy that I'm going to be there to see that. I'm going to be there for the series, to see how that plays out. Hopefully,
Are you going to the
if there's
game? Are you going to find a way to go to the game?
I'll be checking. SeatGeek or whatever other platform
So
wants to sponsor
just
us and help
they're a
us get
little
that.
higher than usual.
Hmm.
Get in right now. Get in right now for the first game is 104. Saturday's game is 111, and Sunday's game is 86.
So I'll be
So
keeping my eye on that just to
I'll tell you
see.
this, man. The watch parties in New York, that might be better than the game itself.
Yeah,
Find yourself your local watering hole and watch the game there.
right. So I'm just looking forward to it right now, and I don't know if we're gonna do predictions, right? Because we do predictions for the games.
We're gonna do predictions. Yes, we are.
I think I'm gonna start with the predictions, and I'm gonna say
Go
that
ahead.
I think the Mets win this series, this current one.
No,
You know,
I've been saying that. Yeah, so I
I
do.
think
I
the
think
Mets
they're gonna
wins
win too.
this series, and it's not. It's gonna be one of those like, oh, I can't wait to play again. I can't wait to see you guys then later. But it's gonna be a good series, and I think the Mets take this one.
So far the projected pitching matchups for um Friday will be Tyler Miguel, Carlos Rodon. Saturday is Canning. They don't have one for the Yankees. Uh, if that's the way it's been going, it might be Yogsburg, because that's Yogsboro. So we'll see. Because he's been pitching behind Rodon. He pitched behind Rodon to in the Oakland series, and then Sunday's finale will be Peterson Schmidt. Yeah, I think the Mets win 2 out of 3. I thought the Mets were going to win this series. I personally think the Mets are the better team, and I've been on record to say that. Um, Now, as a Yankee fan, and it's so funny because I'm wearing a Mets hat while saying this, I want the Yankees to win the series. I would hope so, but I want all the games to be close. I want all the games to be close. I hope it's not a blowout on either end. Um, because the crowd's going to be crazy. So both of us got the Mets winning 2 out of 3. One last thing before we move on, brother. Juan Soto, does he get booed or what do you expect
It's Yankee
Juan
Stadium.
Soto?
He's
And
getting booed. He's getting
yeah,
booed.
yeah.
He's getting booed.
And you know what?
You can appreciate him for the 1 year rental that we had for him, but at the end of the day, like you're now with the other team, and we know why you went there, and it wasn't because you think the Mets are better. It's because they pay you more. So this is you're getting booed, bro.
Why'd you do it in that accent?
I don't know. I wanted to get more petty as I got I guess the more my like voice got higher, the pettier I think I sound. I don't dabble too much in
Nah,
petty.
I agree. I agree.
I,
Um,
I don't dabble too
you know
much in
what it is?
petty. But when I get there,
Yeah,
ooh,
yeah. Um, I personally don't want to see it, but man, I would not be surprised Juan Soto hits a bomb first inning. Hits a
yeah.
bomb. Yo, oh my God. Met fans will go ballistic. That man, obviously he's gonna hit if he were to hit a home run in that series, but if he were to go and set the tone and hit a home run, I know Francisco Lindor, man. Francisco Lindor has monster games against the Yankees. This is going to be a great series. I wish I was here this next weekend as well, but I'll be in the great state of Florida, so I will be watching. But I will definitely be watching these games for sure. And I only have to make one graphic, so so that'll be cool. Subway Series is always dope for New York. So, but you know what's always dope here on the Ozone? It's quick hits. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. This is quick hits. This is where we cover everything around the globe. The hits are so quick, you don't see it coming. Brother, Bleacher Report Zach Buckley suggested that the Grizzlies should decide to move on from superstar point guard Ja Morant. The Rockets, Heat, Pelicans, Magic, and Kings are the 5 teams that loom as a logical landing spot. Brother, should the Grizzlies think about trading Morant? And if so, what spot would be the best?
The Grizzlies are in an interesting position that I feel like they should move on from Ja Morant. I think they should and capitalize on what you can get for him now. Um, if you're talking about which team should land him, only just for the sake of like interest, I'd like to see him in Orlando. And that's bias. I'm here. I get to see him a little bit more often if that's the case. Um, but I think a team that I definitely would say is probably the top favorite destination for him to go to would probably be the Heat. I know, brother.
I don't want to see that. I
What
don't
are your
want to see
thoughts?
that. I think you're absolutely right about John Moran. Um I think this Grizzlies team has reached their ceiling. And if you don't want to trade Morant, something drastic has to happen.
Then you get rid
Where
of Triple
maybe you
J.
trade a Jaren Jackson. Yeah, maybe you traded Jaren Jackson because I don't think Desmond Bain, although you trade him, I don't think he'll give you much where it can move the needle. So my thing is, I think with John Morant, um, I think it best if the Grizzlies were to move on. I like the Rockets. I thought of Orlando, and I said Orlando would be cool, but I like the Rockets because I think the Rockets have enough young talent where they can trade a Jalen Green, which is shout outs to us, the Ozone, our Gilbert Arenas think video saying that Jalen Green that will get the Knicks will get turned down for trading Brunson and Randall for Jalen Green. Got us 12,000 over 12,000 views on TikTok, over 25,000 views on YouTube. So shout outs to us, brother. Pat yourself in the back, brother. We did that. And to the people who show love and support. Thank you.
But Jalen Green, what is
I
this obsession with him? Like the
I think yeah, it's because he's the number 2 overall pick. He's got talent. He's just not consistent enough. But this is why I say the Rockets, because I think with the Rockets, what you saw against Golden State with Amin Thompson, the actual good Thompson brother, uh, oh man, I get mixed up which one is one, but the Houston one, he showed he is going to be a great two-way player. He's already great defensively. He had an offensive bag in that series. They have enough young talent where they can go and get a John Morant. They have picks to go get a John Morant, but still keep their young core with Thompson, keep their young core with Sengun, and then you pair John Morant now. You might still need some veterans to maybe sustain John Morant, but I like Houston. I think Orlando would be my backup because Orlando, but then again, as a Knicks fan, I may not want to see that because John Morant, Paulo, and Franz Wagner, that's looking deadly.
Yeah. And plus, I think the Grizzlies just need to shake it up. You know, they already have enough issues with him. You're gonna have a new coach. Or there's a guy taking over as their new coach who's already been there. But you want a new regime, and you probably don't want to deal with the problems you dealt with Ja Morant. So that's why I think the Grizzlies also need to just move on, or like you said, shake it up and get rid of Triple J or something. Um, Speaking of trades, the Dallas Cowboys in football made a big splash on Wednesday morning, agreeing to trade for wide receiver George Pickens. Dallas sent a 2026 third round pick and a 2027 fifth round to the Pittsburgh Steelers for Pickens and a 2027 sixth round pick. Does this make the Cowboys the favorite in the NFC East?
No, but it makes them good. It makes them better than what they were last year. It pains me to say this, but the Giants aren't the favorites, so man, whatever. Uh, the Eagles are the favorites. It's that simple. They're the defending champions. Until otherwise, so they get knocked down, they're going to be the favorites. I think I have them over the Washington. I don't have Cowboys over Washington, but as I said, it makes them better. I like Pickens going there. Now, I think this is all on Pickens, though. We know that Pickens wants to be a number one guy. He acts like he's a number one guy. But maybe I think this would do more good for him because you're on a team where you know you're not the number one guy. It's not even up for debate. CeeDee Lamb is top 5 in the league, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that might humble him, brother, where he can be in that Amari Cooper role when he was cooking with CD, and then now you just add another weapon. Now, I know the line for Dallas is not that great, but now you give Dak Prescott another weapon. And I think with the coverage that CD Lamb is going to get, and they already have a good tight end in Ferguson, right? Ferguson's their tight end.
I believe you're correct.
Pickens is gonna get. He's gonna get numbers. He's gonna be that fantasy guy that you get third round, third round in fantasy. That those are the ones that's gonna help you. I like it for Dallas. I hate it as a Giants fan, but they're not the favorites. But I like it. What about you?
I mean, the Eagles, as long as the Eagles still have Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, and Devontae Smith, I'm sorry, they are the favorites of the East. Washington is on the come up, and they have a great quarterback. And I think with the Cowboys, outside of Pickens and everything, you know how far they go as far as Dak Prescott takes them. That's
Yeah,
as simple as that. As far as Dak Prescott takes them, and I think that he's not the guy who's going to get them there. But who cares? It's the Cowboys. I don't like them.
but Dak Prescott, and I can't believe I'm defending him on this.
Ooh,
Dak Prescott is not a good playoff quarterback. He's a good regular season quarterback.
yeah, you might
Just
want him
gonna
in
say that.
fantasy.
Just gonna leave that there. Yeah, but I probably still won't draft him. Let's keep it in football, but let's switch it up. Let's go to college as North Carolina said the girlfriend of your guy, Bill Belichick, is welcomed at the Tar Heels football facilities amid the report that 24-year-old Jordan Hudson, which is the girlfriend of Bill Belichick, had been banned from the facilities. Brother, is this the right move, and should Hudson be allowed at the facilities in general?
I don't think she should be at the facilities. Like, what does she contribute? What does she bring to this at all? At the end of the day, no, number one, here I'm gonna be, and I'm just make of it whatever you want. I'm Bill
He's gonna
Belichick.
protect Bill.
I'm
Yeah, go
no, no,
ahead.
no. I'm Bill Belichick. I'm in
Oh,
my 70s. My girlfriend is 24 years old. So are the kids who are in the same school that we're going to. If I'm Bill Belichick, I just see her as scouting her next target. I'm not having you at the facilities. Don't be surprised. Hey, she ends up with somebody who's going into the league soon. You never know. I just no,
yeah.
she doesn't
I
belong
didn't think
there.
of it that way. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I don't think you should be there. There's nowhere else that you can say that you see the wife as involved as this girl has been involved with Bill Belichick stuff. To the even the, like the, you've seen the report. I think there was something that she was doing Bill Belichick was doing an interview and she was chiming in on like, no, I don't want to talk about that. And it's like it's Bill Belichick's interview. Like who are you? So if it's me you're asking, then no, she shouldn't be involved at all. And it's Bill. Just be smart with your money. That's all. Um. Let's move it on, bro. All right.
Yeah,
Lastly,
let's
the
move on.
NBA playoffs continue to roll, but we have some pivotal players getting injured, with some actually missing games. We have Steph Curry, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, all have missed games, and Anthony Edwards rolled his ankle during Game 2 against the Warriors. Which injury has the biggest impact on the team's success?
When we wrote the script, I thought it would have been Steph Curry, and I still believe that now after watching Game Three, between Minnesota and Golden State. It's Curry. Obviously, I know how big Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter is, but they were able to come back for Game Three, and what a coincidence that the Indiana Pacers actually play a team where all their guys are playing, and they lose Hashtag overrated. Um, but it's definitely Golden State, brother. They're gonna go as far as Steph Curry takes them. Like I know Jimmy, they got playoff Jimmy, but at the end of the day, Buddy Hield is a he's just a 3-point guy. He's not a guy that's gonna create his own shot. Like he gets his shot off because he's not the focal point of the defense. His shots are created by the movement of Steph Curry and how those guys play. And then obviously Draymond's not an offensive threat. Draymond's more of a threat to his own team. The guy's 2 technical fouls away from being suspended. He fouled out game 3 with 2 points. You know what I mean? So Jonathan Kuminga, he's been so up and down during the season. You're not going to get any level of consistency from him. Moody's the same way. Not going to get consistency from those guys. So it's definitely Steph Curry. Golden State now, the rumor is that that Curry may be available for game 5. Golden State has to find a way to win game 4. If not, it's lights out in Minnesota. So I would say Steph Curry.
And I agree with you. I mean, it's the greatest shooter in the world. That's it. If you're not the greatest shooter in the world, then it doesn't matter. But clearly you are. So clearly your team needs you. So I think
Yeah,
we're on
yeah.
the same page there, bro.
So we added this. We added this. We got any point on this one, Ness? That's it. You
Yeah,
done
this
with it?
last point. Run it, bro.
All right. Yeah. So we had to add this late because we have learned that over the weekend that we lost hardcore wrestling icon Terry Bunk, known to wrestling fans as the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal. Before we was acknowledging Roman Reigns, we were doing a Sabu. Guys, we learned that Sabu had passed away over the weekend. And the Ozone, we extend our condolences to the family of Sabu and his friends and family. Uh, I don't, I don't want to put you on the spot, brother, and say what's your best Sabu match or moment. But what I will say is this: Sabu. I've always liked Sabu. Definitely loved when Sabu was tag teaming with Rob Van Dam, and they had Alfonso cutting it right down the middle as their manager. Sabu was the innovator of a lot of moves that you see today, especially when it's involving a steel chair. And it's so funny because the video came out I guess it was a couple weeks ago, of when his last match against Joey Janela in GCW, and he took a horrible bump where he fell off the ring apron and fell on the concrete. But Sabu was a legend. And if you watch wrestling, if you watch ECW, you know what he's brought to the wrestling community.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. If you think ECW, there are a few names that come to mind. It's like off the top of your head, and Sabu is just one of those guys. Besides RVD and others that may come right off to the top of your head when you start thinking of ECW.
Yeah.
Um,
When you think of
I,
ECW, you think of Sabu.
yeah, he's one of those
Right.
faces that you
Right.
just you
Yeah.
you automatically think of. So 60 years old, gone a little too soon, I think. But you gave it all as far as into your profession and what you decided to pursue in your life, and there's no bigger pursuit and like accomplishment than succeeding at doing what you love to do.
Yeah. So we'll do it that. All right, y'all. But so let's not end the show on a sad moment. Let's end it on a high moment. And let's say, y'all, the highlight of the week.
He's on fire!
All right, y'all, highlight of the week. It's going to our boy. Now, I know it was unofficial because it was called for a charge, but we don't care here at the Ozone. We saw with our 2 eyes OG Anunoby catch a body. And that's what he did with the highlight of the week is my man put Derek White on a poster. That's going to be on posters. That's going to be on trading cards. But you know what's not going to be on that? Knowing whether that was an offensive foul because nobody cares. Because OG Anunoby caught a body on Derek White. Dave's got the clip playing. When we all saw that, we all got out our chair. There's no way you saw that play and went, that was a nice play.
No, that was amazing. And if you have somebody who happens to be a Celtics fan watching this, and they're like, "Oh, but the Jalen Brown, it didn't count. It didn't go through the basket. It didn't go through, so it doesn't count at all." This one, it does. It looked really good, and you're watching it again.
Counts here on the Ozone. So, guys, you know what counts? is you guys supporting this video. And by doing that, it's hitting up that thumbs up on this video, liking it, subscribe, do all that stuff as I lose my voice. But we're doing it here for the people. We're doing it for the people. Guys, and the ways to support us is to follow us on all our social media platforms. We are available on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and on X. That's the way that you can get all your update on everything New York, Yankees, Mets, everything. When they're playing, what time they're playing, what channel they're playing. You can get all of that information when you follow us on all our socials. And then plus we have shorts, we have videos. And now we're getting into the business of calling out the national media for doing our boys dirty, for getting things wrong, for saying obnoxious things. The ozone is starting to call you guys out. We're calling you out. So you want to see those videos as we call out those guys, you have to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and on Twitter. But guys, it's been a pleasure. I'm in New York. Dave's in Florida. Next week, we're switching places. Brother, it's been an amazing week. Guys, tap in with us for next Monday, 5 p.m. for a brand new Fire of the Ozone. It's been all good.
This is more than a podcast. It's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right. Welcome to the Ozone.